Chris Gonzalez here.
Hello everyone, Chris Gonzalez here on this Honda Drive with your host Chris Gonzalez. I'm here with the team at Plaza Honda. We have my man Saad, aka
Super Saad.
We got Steve What's your nickname? What's your nickname, Steve?
Steve the Beeb, no?
Steve the Beeb! Steve the Beeb! Yeah! Steve the Beeb. Steve is a veteran of Honda for how many years now, Steve?
21 years.
21. He's with Honda. He's actually of legal age when it comes to the Honda status. So we have Mr. Imran, who is
Another one,
right? And we have Dave.
It's your boy Dave the Wave.
Dave the Wave is our newest member, which we can't see, so we got to get him in the camera here. Hold on, let me just swivel this way. Just want to tell you a little history about these guys. So Super Saad has been with Honda how long?
This July will be 1 year.
1 year he has been with Honda. And before Honda, you were with what manufacturer?
Hyundai.
He was with Hyundai. Hyundai. No. We don't downplay any stores. We actually have a Hyundai store, and Saad's able to sell every brand on the block here. So whether it be Honda, Hyundai, Toyota, Acura, Kia, right? And even things that we don't have here, we can help you with, right? But we're not here to sell anything. So we have Steve has been with Honda for 21 years. When it comes to product knowledge, to give you a little background, whenever I need to know anything about product, I go to Steve. I mean, Steve knows every model, every time it's changed, what's new in the vehicle, what's not. He is the man. And actually, Steve will be away tomorrow at what?
Atlantic City with the Hard Rock Honda convention.
Will you be there with Honda?
Yes.
And why are you able to go to this convention?
Because you got to sell a certain amount of cars and have your CSI up to date. And,
Your platinum?
Yeah.
Right. So Steve is a platinum sales consultant, which means he sold over 368 cars. Right, Steve?
Yeah, 375.
375. If you look at that mirror out that window, I'm going to close the shade. You're not going to be able to see those women. All right? Stay focused here, Steve.
We are focused.
So 370 cars he sold to have his status. Actually sold more than that. But you got to sell in excess of 370 cars. So Steve has done that. And you have to maintain a certain level of customer satisfaction. And I always say, like, the people walking through the door, it's kind of hard to make everybody happy, right?
Correct.
So the fact that Steve was able to do that so many times just proves he's a professional. Mr. Imran has been with the company now, what?
4 years.
4 years he's been selling car. He is consistent. He will also be at this Honda meeting tomorrow. He sold how many cars last year?
265.
265. 265 Hondas. He's averaging 24 Hondas a month to be at that number. That's an amazing job. Once again, providing that customer satisfaction, I think, is amazing. Dave the Wave has been here how long?
A little over 4 months.
4 months. So Dave came out of what? Banking, right?
Bank mortgages, yeah.
He was also a mixologist. He was also a street pharmacist. No, I'm just kidding.
Stripper.
Dave the and a stripper. Oh, and he was also a lion dancer, a Chinese lion dancer.
Yes.
And you know, like when they have like New Year's, they do the dancing and the lion.
And the dragons.
What part of the lion were you?
The booty.
He was the booty. He was the tail of the lion. So we wanted to talk about a very, very important topic, and it has to do with credit, right? And everybody's laughing. So everybody's laughing because you were the booty of this lion. So we wanted to discuss credit and the things you need to know, not just about shopping for a car, but in life, right?
Yes.
So why don't you introduce some of the things we're going to be talking about today?
One of the main keys we always have to look about credit, it's not always about the score. It's about the history you keep with the banks or the credit card companies that approve you. So now once you are to get approved with a credit card, let's say it's $1,000 limit. Now most people get $1,000. Me, myself, I've done this. I've been through it. When I get $1,000, you figure out 1,000 ways to spend those $1,000. The main thing you always have to look at your history, always has to show 33% of your utilization rate, which means if it's $1,000, only spend $350, which shows the bank that you're reliable and you're trustworthy. which will build history with them. And as the years go on, let's say if something is to make your credit drop. Now let's say if I have a Honda for 5 years and I've been making all my payments on time with Honda and I messed up somewhere else, let's say a credit card company, anything, I'm in collections. Now if I need to buy another Honda and Honda sees I've been making my history with them, I had a good relationship with them, they will pick me up again because I have their loyalty.
So the credit bureaus actually use a rating called BTA. It's better than agreed. So if your minimum payment on your credit card is, let's say, $50, the credit bureaus track that history, and so do lenders. So that BTA, paying your payments better than agreed, would be not making a minimum payment of $50. It means making as much of a payment as you possibly can to make sure that you keep yourself below. He mentioned 33%. So that means you have to have 67% of your credit available to be in great standing with a creditor. So that's very, very, very good point.
Yes.
Okay? Steve, you got to be over 800. What's your credit score?
840.
840? Whoa! Whoa! 840! 840. So if you had to share some of the ways you were able to get your credit score to an 840, what would you say to our viewers? Or better yet, what would you say to the young people in the room right now?
Build your credit up. You have to pay your bills on time, never be late on credit cards,
That's
car
important
payments on
thing.
time, not overextend your credit, limit on your credit cards. Don't max out every credit card, and you can build your credit up.
Be responsible.
Responsible, car payments on time, everything on time will build your credit up.
There you go.
Missing payments or missing car payments, credit cards will bring your score down, and you'll be in a derogatory situation.
And here's the truth of the matter. So like when you apply for anything in life, and we're actually going to give you, there's an example right behind me that we're going to cover. When you apply for credit, you don't walk up to the bank and the person who's making that decision sees who you are, sees who you dress, knows what your family history is like, knows what your upbringing. They don't know anything about you. What they know is what they see in black and white on that credit report. So for things like making your payments on time or maintaining that good BTA, better than agreed rating, keeping your balances low and having a lot available shows that you're responsible. So when you're looking for credit and you submit an application, that's all they see, what's in black and white. And some of the things that they weigh are what? What do they weigh when they're looking at credit besides score?
What do you mean?
What do they weigh when they're looking at your credit?
So how long you are in a credit, like how long you dealing
How
with
long you've had credit,
card,
what else?
Credit card. If you are a student, they look at that as well.
Say income.
Income is definitely important as well. How much you're making, because if they don't want to give you a loan. Say you're making $2,000 a month. They don't want to. If you want a pilot or hire like a $50,000 car, they're not gonna give you loans.
So
it's not gonna.
right. So what banks are going to look for? They're going to look for a
better
PTA, which is a payment to income, right?
Yes.
So if you make $2,000 and let's say they want you to be at no more than 15% of your income,
Yes.
that would be a 15% PTA. Payment to income can't exceed 15% of your gross monthly income. So if you're making $2,000 a month, how much would your payment be? $300 would be your max payment, right? If let's say you make $5,000 a month, the bank technically says you can afford a $750 a month payment. Now that doesn't necessarily mean you can afford that,
Yes.
Yeah.
but that is there's a parameter that the bank is looking at when they're looking to give you a loan or see if you're able to pay that loan, right?
100%.
This is also for houses too. It's not just for cars. So if you're looking to purchase, if I'm making minimum wage and I want to buy a $1.2 million house, I would never get approved for that.
So if you're making minimum wage, what
Yeah.
type of house would you qualify for?
It's off the top of my
No,
head.
None.
None.
So here's the news flash.
Co-op.
You
Not
have
even a co-op.
to make more than minimum wage. More so, you have to figure out how you can be of more value so you can earn more income, right? Never settle for what you're earning. Always put yourself in a position where you can earn more income so you can afford the greater things in life. So when we talk about credit scores don't only afford you the ability to buy a car or a house. What else do they afford you?
Look, credit score is not about the only credit score. like when you buy a car, it's the best way to upgrade your.
No. My question is, having good credit score doesn't only afford you the ability to buy a house or a car. What else does it afford you?
Choice card.
If you had to think of some things, come on.
I mean,
How about
it could
going on
afford you a lot.
vacation?
It could afford you. That's how exactly
A credit
what I'm saying.
card.
Let's just say if you have great credit, right? Now let's say emergency comes up. Now sometimes people don't have that asset in their bank account. They can rely on their credit card.
Right.
Let's say you need 20 grand for something. Not that many people are gonna have the 20 grand up front. What they could do is they could swipe their credit card,
Right.
and then pay it gradually.
So let me just bring out a few things that people overlook, right? When we think about credit, we only think about loans and credit cards. But the truth is, with a poor credit score and poor credit history, you could be denied a job.
100%.
You could be denied insurance.
Yes, insurance is a big factor on credit.
You know, and these are the things that are overlooked when we're talking about credit. Everyone just thinks it's loans, home,
And
or
car
credit
loan,
card,
credit card, and
but how about a job? An employer saying,
It's bigger.
I'm thinking of putting you in a managerial type position, and your credit sucks. What type of decisions are you going to make for my organization?
Even if you want to go for.
You're going to make crappy decisions for my business if you have a poor credit score.
Because
Or-
if you did it for yourself, well, what?
What type of driver would you be if you couldn't drive your own finances?
100%.
Right?
Not even
Make good sense?
Even
Rentals
if you
too.
want a rental, right?
You want to rent up an apartment.
Apartment. Oh my God! If you don't have good credit, certain rental they
They're
look
not
for
gonna take
740
that.
and above.
So would you summarize credit as more than just
Just for
Buying things?
Credit is bigger than what most
So-
people think.
It's your identity, kind of. You know.
it is your identity. That's 100% right. Thank you, Imran.
No problem.
Thank you, Imran.
I heard this
Good job,
once many years ago from somebody. This is when I first got my credit, right? I was telling him, I was like, oh, bro, I got my credit cards. I want to spend money, this, that, and the third. And he told me one thing. He goes, cash is king, but credit is power.
100%. Yeah.
So now I didn't understand what he meant by that. But then as I started year by year, now I understand why credit is power. Because now, let's say if you are 8 something credit score, you know damn well, let's just say, forget a car dealership. Let's just say a home. You go to buy a house, you know your credit score or your credit history. And even if you're putting initial deposit percentage down, you know your credit's going to be able to get you approved for anything.
100%. So I want to share to you, and then I want to come back to Dave DeWave because he has a great topic to cover. So I want to share this board that we created to give you a visual of what credit really looks like. So on the, I don't know if it's your left or your right, but to me it's my left. It could be your right. So John on one side has a 730 credit score. John qualifies for an interest rate of 1.99%. So if there were a loan for $23,000 on a Honda or any make out there, that loan would cost John, it's mirrored. Okay, so hold on, what does that mean? So on the right side, it's mirrored, you're right, thank you, Leo. So on the right side, we have John with a 730 credit score on a $23,000 loan. His payment would be $368, which would bring him to $24,288 would be his overall payments. That's what he would pay for his loan of $23,000 plus interest. Now on the other side is Jane with a 599 credit score. Jane, financing the same amount of money, would qualify for a 14.99% interest rate. Her payment would be $514 over 66 months, making her total payout $33,924. So essentially, Jane is going to pay $9,616 more than John would pay because John has a better credit score and qualifies for a better interest rate. Now, we're in the car business, and we are trying to provide value for our consumers. So getting our consumers to focus on improving their credit is going to ultimately do what for all of us? What would a consumer improving their credit do for all of us? Why don't you tell them?
What would Oh my lord!
Get a better interest rate.
Way better interest rate.
Get a better payment.
Get a better interest, get a more affordable payment, maybe get a better car for their money. What else?
More features.
More feature, like you get like whatever you want. Actually, if you have better credit, say sometimes people come over here, they want good car, say they want SUV, but because of their credit score,
So
they
they're
have
getting
to
a better car for their money.
Definitely,
Right.
definitely,
And so, hold on. Now, selfishly, right? What would all of that do for you as sales consultants?
Customers will pay off their car faster because they're paying more principal and less interest. So Jane with the 14.99 rate is going to pay more interest, while John is actually paying more principal and building more value towards
More equity.
Yes, equity towards his car.
So at a lower interest rate, more of your monthly payment is going towards principal, right? Which means that loan would be paid off sooner than later, right?
That's correct.
Putting John
Ahead of the game.
in market in 2 to 3 years, right? Versus Jane, who spent most of her money in interest. Now, what do these gentlemen do? And what does Jane do when she wants to get out of her car? She either needs a large down payment, a better interest rate, and sometimes wouldn't even qualify for a new loan based upon what she owes.
Sure.
So in that case, we have a negative equity type situation where your car is worth, let's say, $10,000, but you owe $15,000, right? Because most of that payment's been going to interest. How much upside down is that person?
$5,000.
$5,000. And now if they do get approved, what happens?
That 5,000 go.
That $5,000 goes on to their new loan, making their payments even higher than they were before, till eventually what happens to that customer?
They never get out from the
Never
loan.
get out from the
They
loan.
never
Don't
get out
know
from the
what
loan. What
The
else?
car is worth.
And what else could potentially happen to them?
They can maybe, because sometimes they cannot afford this payment.
Oh.
Affordability. They can't afford the car.
The car
They
is
wind up,
repossessed.
the car gets repossessed. The car goes back to the bank. Now all of a sudden that customer can't buy a car. And what happens? A vicious cycle. And worse, in a year when that customer decides, hey, you know what? My income is not supporting my lifestyle. I need a better job. They get denied for that job because of what?
Credit.
Now their credit is worse.
The car history.
It's worse. You know, so when you think about credit, you got to think about more than just the loans and the credit cards. You got to think about the ability to get a job, a good job, the ability to get good insurance, the ability to be able to
Better lifestyle.
better life, right? And alluding to what Saad was going over earlier, I mean, credit is power. You know, someone with a good credit profile can walk into a bank and secure a loan for investment properties,
Like this.
can secure a loan for a business, right? And these are things that most people don't speak about, right?
But
So,
you know, sometimes.
What else would you like to share with them?
You know, people think like sometimes people don't have no credit, right? But they want to make their credit high, like move faster. I think car buying is the one thing it moved really fast. I had few customers that didn't have no credit, right? So they came from other countries, such as same thing as me, right? From Bangladesh, whatever the country they come from, they don't have no credit, but they come here to buy a car. So what happened is they pay high interest rate, right? And they after they buy the car, maybe they have to pay high interest rate,
Right.
no matter what. After maybe a year later or something like that, their credit go up, then they can refinance as well.
Everything is always a little harder in the beginning, right? You have to establish yourself. Sometimes you have to pay a slightly higher interest rate
Yes.
or more money down, right? Sometimes money down can help that interest rate, right? The
Yes.
more you put down, the less you borrow, the better the interest rate the bank will give you for financing less money.
100%.
So all things to consider when we're talking about credit. What else would you like to say? You want to cover? So you want to say something about the board?
Yeah, so like what Chris was saying, when Jane decides to trade in a car and she owes about 15, but her car is worth 10, if it was the same case, John trading in his car, and the car's worth 10, but John will not owe 15. John will probably owe, let's say 11 or probably 10, like break even type.
Well,
of number.
in this case,
Or he might be positive, too.
in this case,
Yeah.
he could owe $9,000 less than Jane, right?
So he's
Because
up, so he's gonna be up.
he's going to have equity. He's going to have positive equity, which means he's going to be able to. Can't hear him. What's his question? So what do you guys ask the question? One of the guys are here. Would you like customers to purchase cars that more?
Tell us customer I'm not here.
When?
You're not here. We're here. Okay? Thank you.
3 weeks
So
ago.
that's where we are. We have some rude people in the dealership that think that they could just walk anywhere they want, right? And this is what they do. Like, this is their home. But you know what? This is all of our home. So we're here to provide value for you, the consumer. And we hope that speaking about credit today helps you not just become better consumers, but become better people. Smart buyers. Think about your livelihood, right? Think about your insurance rates. Think about your future, right? Think about every financial decision you make, how it affects not just you, but the people around you, your family, your friends, and what else?
Because nowadays everything revolves on your credit. You know what I mean? Every single thing.
Everything is
you-
digital.
Now everything is digital, right? You go anywhere. Sometimes some places don't even take cash. They can take card, right?
Yeah.
If you don't
Speak
even,
louder.
If you don't have credit card, how are we gonna purchase things?
So you know what's funny? In China, they have a civilian scoring system where they score and rate how you are as a civilian. So if you're a good Samaritan, if you're a good neighborhood person, everyone gets a rating.
Oh, wow.
I think about that. That's scary, right? How do they know? They scan your forehead. That's what they do.
Maybe.
We're gonna Google that and figure that out later. So, really quick, I want David to touch on college grad. How would you describe the college graduate program that Honda has?
So Honda offers a college grad program where if you're going to graduate within a year, or you graduated 2 years ago, as long as you have a diploma or a transcript to prove it, they're gonna give you a $500 incentive towards the purchase of your next car. And they're pretty lenient on the credit because they know that you're a grad. So they probably know that you have no credit, or your credit is, it's not long term, or you just got your credit. So that's why they're pretty lenient on that. Unless if you have really bad credit, then it's probably gonna be hard for you to get approved.
But that is a challenge we are willing to accept.
That's right, baby.
Over here, bad credit, no credit, does not matter. We could make it happen.
No problem.
Everybody gets approved.
Everybody, let's put it like this. If you guys remember, a couple weeks ago, we had Mr. Kevin Weeks come in. He said if you could sign the paper, you are approved. He was not lying.
Imran was going to touch on military. What were we going to say on military?
Honda really appreciate whoever are veteran in this country. So if you're a veteran, like, it doesn't matter, you still serve in the country or you serve the country like 10 years ago, 20 years ago, still Honda give you $500 rebate towards your down payment. It's gonna consider it your down payment. So this is really grateful.
So military rebate is $500, as well as college grad on select Honda vehicles. And the criteria, they're very flexible when it comes to buying. Light credit, no credit when you have college grad. They're also very forgiving with military. A little note with military, and what I found over the years is what a lot of people that are serving our country fail to do before they get deployed is make their creditors aware that they're leaving. So as they're away, obviously they're not paying their bills and some things become delinquent. So when they get back, they're able to fix those things. But just a note for our military people out there, if you're going to be deployed, you're going to be away for some time, if you contact your creditor and you let them know, they can usually freeze your account so that you're not reporting late or you're not missing payments on whatever you have out there. The veterans absolutely do need a DD-214. That was a question from Joe. Joe, thank you for your participation here. Yes, veterans need a DD-214. College grads need a diploma or a transcript showing their estimated graduation date. Yes, and that could be 2-year, 4-year degree. It doesn't matter if you're in college, you would qualify. So let's see, first-time buyer. Yes, if you're a first-time buyer, adding a trade line. These are great things to do You know, some parents do this for their kids, which is a great thing. If you can get on some as an authorized user or get a trade line added to the credit, that's a great thing. You only help to improve their credit standing. But just make sure if you're going to have someone add a trade line to your account that they're responsible. And that credit history will usually show from the date the account was originally opened. But it does show as an A authorized user or C co. Just some of the things that you can do to improve your credit.
Chris, can you co-sign on a G-Wagon for me?
Can I co-sign on a G-Wagon for you? Absolutely not. You know why? Because you don't need a G-Wagon. What you need to do is you need some assets, or you need to figure out something, or some place, or somehow that you can acquire an asset that can pay for that G-Wagon side. That's what you need to do.
Land, property,
Land, property, what else?
real estate.
Stock market.
How about a second job?
Nah. You trying to fire me, bro?
Anything else you want to say?
No, thanks for joining.
Few questions we had here. Let's see what we have. First time buyer adding trade lines. Great, that got that. I don't know who this guy Andy is. You are treating people like you're another sales rep. Treat them like you are the leader. Get different results. Have no idea what you're talking about, Andy, but thanks for your participation.
No, I kind of get what he's trying to say. Don't run a regular salesperson skit on a person. I mean, that's what I do. I always tell my customers, always, the first way I work with them is like if I got my family in front of me. I think that's what he's trying to say. Treat them as in family. Treat them how you want to be treated.
Absolutely.
Don't be a
Always
regular
treat people.
salesperson.
100%.
I mean, we're trying to change that in the business. We're going to make it happen.
Candace, very good info. Nancy, what type of incentives are available on the court now? Wow, we're not supposed to sell, but depending on what you're looking to do, Nancy, either buy or lease. There's some good lease incentives on the car. From a purchase standpoint, there's great low financing on Honda Accords right now. So you can send me a message. I'll send you a message. I'll let you know. Let me know what you're
March
looking to do.
Madness.
We have Abbas on here, Brad, Burton, Trevor. Let's see, Joe. We do trade lines. So we got Joe does trade lines.
There we go, Joe.
Good thing to know. Thanks, Joe. Appreciate that.
Going, Joe.
At Joe Renna, needs for honorable discharge. Yep, or honorable discharge.
There we go.
He loves your energy, guys. Good job.
Thank
Nancy.
you.
Nancy's looking to buy. So let's see. I'll direct message you.
There we go.
All right.
Thank
For you get everything below the line, and that's a fact. Okay. So you guys have an amazing evening. We hope you enjoyed this. We hope you found value in today's Honda Drive. Okay. It wasn't so much about the car. It was more about your credit standing. Sad's checking out his
Come see us
his
for those
tie in the
approvals,
mirror
you know?
over here.
Come get those approvals, you heard?
Hey, I'm gonna say this. You know, there's really nothing we can't get done, and
Nothing.
you know, I mean, you have repos on your credit. We can get them done.
But
But we don't just look to put people in cars. We want to put people in the right situation because we're looking for lifetime loyalty on both ends, right? We want to put someone in a position where they're able to pay, able to become our retention customer and come back and buy more cars, and refer family and friends. But if you have a situation, we understand that things happen in life. You know, when we're young, we make decisions that usually affect us in the long run. Everyone needs a second chance. So you guys have an amazing evening, and you guys be absolutely great.
Thank you.